Andre Ward is in limbo right now. We all know that he's had a well-documented fallout with his promoter, and not even the great Richard Dwyer was able to get him out of that contract. So he's in limbo. He hasn't fought for a long time, obviously since the Dawson fight, and he's just wasting away. I know he's still got his job as a HBO announcer, but listen, there's no substitute for getting in the ring and fighting. You know, not everyone can come back off long layoffs like Floyd Mayweather and still be on their A game. In fact, very few fighters can do that. Sugar Ray Leonard, Mayweather, there's a couple guys that can do it, but not that many, to be honest with you. Most guys do suffer from ring rust when they've been out the ring for a long time. So Andre Ward can't take it for granted, man. He can't take it for granted. He needs to get in there and fight somehow, some way. And right now his career is suffering. You know, he's just starting to become maybe slightly irrelevant in boxing, right? A lot of people, including myself, had him as #1 pound for pound after he beat Chad Dawson. But now it's like, okay, Adonis Stevenson has come along and he's knocked out Chad Dawson in 1 round. So he did a better job on Dawson than Andre Ward did. All right, so the face of the super middleweight division is looking a bit different. Obviously, Adonis Stevenson is willing to drop down to 168 and fight Ward and fight Cole Froch and fight pretty much anyone at the moment. You know what I mean? Stevenson's willing to fight anyone, and he has called out Andre Ward. Ward has not responded. Ward seems to be going after Golovkin or Chavez Jr., one of those particular guys. Yet again, he seems to be someone else who's not keen on facing Adonis Stevenson for whatever reason. I haven't heard Andre Ward even mention Adonis Stevenson's name. And that, to be honest with you, is a natural fight. You know, it is a natural fight because Andre Ward was even one of the commentators, right, on HBO when Adonis Stevenson fought Chad Dawson. So the natural fight would be for Stevenson to fight Ward, right? Because Stevenson did a better job on Dawson than Ward did. So that would be the natural fight, but I ain't heard Ward mention nothing about it. I really don't know what's going on with Andre Ward, man. I hope he can get his career back on track. He needs to fight. And when he does come back, he needs to fight some legitimate opponents. You know, Chavez Jr. to me is not legitimate. Even Gennady Golovkin, even though Golovkin has a little bit of a buzz around him at the moment, it's not a legitimate opponent. I want to see him fight the likes of Adonis Stevenson. That's the #1 priority as far as I'm concerned. That's the match that needs to be made, right? Because Stevenson is a guy who is primarily a super middleweight. He has beaten Chad Dawson, all right? Golovkin has beat no one. Even though I think Golovkin has shown great potential and seems to have tremendous power, he's fought no one, all right? Let's be real. Matthew Macklin, I mean, is that the best guy that he's fought? And he's never fought a 168 pound super middleweight, never. So what makes him a legitimate opponent for Andre Ward at this stage? Maybe down the line after he's beaten some better opponents or done something at 168. But right now, what makes him a legitimate opponent for Andre Ward? What makes Chavez Jr. a legitimate opponent for Andre Ward? Even though Chavez Jr. is definitely at least a super middleweight, if not bigger. I mean, Chavez Jr. is probably bigger than Andre Ward himself. But either way, you know, these guys, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of on merit, they're not legitimate opponents for Andre Ward. Now, Andre Ward is looking for a money fight in his career. He's obviously not happy with the money he's making. He wants to be a big star in boxing. He's still not a star. All right? He's still not making enough money. And, you know, that's what he's trying to address. That's why he's doing all this HBO stuff, you know, as a commentator and what have you. And that's why he's looking for these big money fights. He's not necessarily looking for the tough fights. He's looking for the money fights. And someone like Chavez Jr. certainly brings money to the table, which is why he's so interested in that fight. So, you know, I can't hate on that so much, to be honest with you. I understand boxing is a business, and Ward has already cleaned out his division. He's already beat Froch, Kessler, all these people, Beaker, who's now a champion. He's already beat all these guys. So I can't hate on him for wanting a couple of easy fights to, you know, to make some money. I can't hate on him for that. But at the same time, I do expect him to address Adonis Stevenson. All right, as long as Stevenson gets past Tavoris Cloud, I do expect Andre Ward to address that situation right there. Yeah, he may be the best at 168, but you know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, he's been called out by a legitimate opponent and he has to respond to it. You know, so we'll have to see how it goes, man. But, you know, I'm also disappointed that he hasn't sorted out his contractual problems with his promoter. You know, that's unfortunate, man. That is unfortunate. Boxers always seem to get tied down with these kind of problems, and it seems to be never ending. You know, seems to be never ending, man. So it is unfortunate, but let's hope that he can sort it out. Either repair the damaged relationship with Goosen or move on to a new promoter. Who knows? So, yeah, let me know how you feel about Andre Ward's career. Where do you think he's going from here? Do you think the long layoff will affect him? Who do you want to see him fight next? How do you think he would fare against any of the opponents that I just mentioned? Leave your comments in the comment section below. This is Hatman. I'm out.